the fun thing about this is that we've seen so many people get canceled and then they apologize, or it's just fun to watch a guy who's just going all the way with it. It's fun to watch from a spectator standpoint, not putting all the bigotry and all the sadness of his mental health or whatever your take is as a distant, emotionless, detached observer who enjoys the circus a little bit. It is fun to watch someone go so deep down the rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because you're used to people going like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I said that." Kanye just comes back and he goes, "Do you see the interview with Lex where he goes, I want to get back to the thing that you said that was hurtful," and he goes, "Which thing?" And he goes, "Well, when you called it Jewish media, it is Jewish media," and you're going, "Oh, this dude." He's convicted.
He's an anti-Semitic Johnny Cochran.
Yeah, I mean, he is convicted in his beliefs. There was points where Lex said something and he went dun dun dun. He was making music, like, dude, he feels untouchable, like the way like crazy people in the street when they go like, "I'm talking to a guy," like, and he's talking like God's speaking to me. God is speaking to me. It's interesting to watch. That's life, right? It's like there's funny moments, there's sad moments. It's all about how much you want to care about it.
Yeah. And it's a very interesting thing. Like anyone who claims to be godlike or a heavenly figure, they always get struck down in the most brutal of ways.
Yeah, because they're not, and it's delusional, and it's a sign of a mental illness.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the telltale signs of megalomania, narcissistic personality disorder, schizophrenia. I used to work with mentally ill people. And I'll tell you, if you work with that population, you meet Jesus a lot.
And he never smells good.
No. And also, either he's consumed with turning water into wine, or, you know, because they love wine. I tell you, I've met a lot of Jesuses who like booze. So that seems to be one of their favorite things. So it's the big news, man. I mean, you know, there's not much to say about it. You know, we joked about it. It's like, it is what it is. This is not Kanye's first blitzkrieg into the media, as we said. I do kind of agree a little bit with the black perspective that I've seen. I've seen some takes that Kanye was able to call slavery a choice and there was no backlash. But now there's a backlash when he targets the Jewish people. I've heard from Michael Rappaport he would prefer if we said Jewish instead of Jew. You see how people ruin everything? People ruin everything. Elon, you're going to learn that the hard way. You're going to try to have this free speech forum, and people are just going to be slinging the N-word like it's Compound Media Christmas party. So, I mean, people ruin everything. Here Kanye comes along, he ruins the word Jew. Now I can't say Jew. Even if it's funnier phonetically for me to say Jew, I got to say Jewish or I'm a bigot because of Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Mm. People will ruin everything, even words. What was my original point?
Disparity between the Jewish backlash and the backlash.
Right. So that was interesting to me. That is an interesting point.
It is
right?
True.
Because there was a point where he rolled up into TMZ and he's just like, slavery was a choice. And the guy's going like, "Can you explain that?" And he went, "No, I can't explain it. It's a choice." And you go, "What do you, dude?" The people who don't think that he's crazy or off his rocker, I mean, there's another point. Or that he's not an attention-starved narcissist with some disorder, whatever you want to call it. How could you argue slavery? That's like saying, "Hey, man, take a bite of this pizza. It's a banana." And you're going like, what? That's like going, "Hey, dog, jump into the water. You'll get dry. You want to dry off? Hop in that pool." I mean, slavery is actually, by definition, the opposite of choice, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be called slavery.
Yeah, there's no consent seminars on the plantation.
They don't. The master doesn't sit you down and go, "So, you have a bright future ahead. Have you ever thought about what you want to do? What do you see?"
Now, we know you have a stronghold in picking cotton. Have you thought about finance?
What do you see for yourself? It's not like going to a guidance counselor. Come up to the big house.
Do you like to be called boy?
Yeah. Darrell, you... You're a very talented young man. Have you ever thought about your future? What do you see yourself doing? And he just goes, hey, man, I just love being a slave. What can you do? All right, I guess there's nothing we can do. Darrell says he loves being a slave. And Kanye goes, see? And you're like, oh, Kanye, that didn't happen.
There was defense to that, though. When he said it was a choice, people said, oh, the slavery mindset was a choice. Like when you had references to John Brown and the revolution that he led, there were a lot of other slaves that just stayed. But people were so adamant to defend Kanye when he talks about black people. But now he talks about Jews. There's no wiggle room. There's no compensation or consideration for it. It's just a full-on attack. You don't appreciate or you don't support any of those ideals. And that's the disparity that black people see. It's like,
Well, there's some truth to that, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
There's some truth to that. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. But I also think, to Kanye's point a little bit, about if that's what he meant, the slave mentality, I think black people need to come down harder on him. It's got to be black people that come down harder on Kanye in a unified way, like come down hard on him. Because the Jews will come. Yes, the truth is the Jews have been discriminated against for thousands of years. The Jews, the Holocaust being something most recent that was horrific. And the Jews are resolved and unified to have that never happen again. And so they're like preemptively, they just don't let it happen. So I think maybe the black community needs to come down hard on Kanye and stop buying his Yeezys and stop walking around with those stupid people tires or whatever. I don't know what it is, but that's what needs to happen, because that's what's happening with the Jewish issue.
The
right?
level of forgiveness is a higher threshold for the Jews too. Because you can say something about the Jews, you won't say anything. You can say something about black people won't say anything as long as you produce Travis Scott's new album.
That's what you just have to produce the hits. That's absolutely correct.